All right. Welcome to the Q&A with Corporate Wellness Pros with Kathie Owen. Today, we are going to talk about getting leads into our corporate wellness business and what I have learned, what works, what doesn't work, and just different things that are on the agenda. Personally, me and my business, I like to keep things simple because if I start complicating it, I'll start to give myself major anxiety and I don't need any help in that department. So I have worked with many business coaches and mentors who have helped me on this journey, and I really respect their advice. And so a lot of what I'm going to talk about today comes from things that I learned and also a call that I had with Ron with Nuvita. So Ron is the CEO of Nuvita, and he helps us sell our programs. And if you don't know what Nuvita is, it is the Better You challenges that we offer as a corporate wellness professional. And I think they're great. I think the technology is great. And as a personal trainer, I put all my clients into the Core Sync app, which is an app where we can train our clients and we can watch their heart rate, we can watch their food intake, and it's very simple for the client. They can easily access it, and it's also very simple for to go inside a company and offer these 6-week challenges, which are really enticing. So, how I got started in corporate wellness started over 13 years ago. And this is very, very important to note because I have found that really to get success in a corporate wellness program is to do what I did. I reverse engineered how I got into corporate wellness with one of my mentors, and he made me see, Kathie, this is the ticket inside it. So what happened was I was hired by a CEO and a founder of a large company in my area, and they hired me as her personal trainer. And they found me at the gym that I had my profile at. I had my certifications, and I have several fitness certifications. As of today, I've been a fitness trainer for 25 years, and I work with older adults, and I also work with athletes. So there's a broad spectrum of clients that I can train. And so what I found was they hired me to kind of vet me and see what they thought of me because they were building a bigger business on, and they were going to have a gym for their employees. So they had an on-site gym, and they were kind of I want to say kind of interviewing me to see if I would be a fit to run that gym. And when I got there, the gym was just like used equipment, home equipment and everything like that. I'm making a short story, a long story short, because what I did was I trained this CEO for about 3 months before they hired me to come in and run this gym. And that is really important to note because I guarantee you, you have a CEO or a very warm lead inside your business. Whether you're a sound healer, whether you're a meditation person, whether you're a burnout coach, or whatever type of coach you happen to be, you have very warm leads inside there. So, having said that, then I went inside this company and I ran their gym. But the thing is the gym did not get that great of engagement. And even though over the years, I revamped this gym many times and I've got like pre-core equipment, I got TRX, I made functional fitness, I did the flooring, I really made this gym like top of the line. I have some resources that I have that help me revamp this gym. And it was weird because the company was really adamant on having this gym and thinking that was their wellness program. But I can tell you that was not enough. And so what I started doing was I started having health fairs I want to say about 10 years ago, I started having health fairs once a year. And that was a big, big hit because it talked to all the employees. I had all kinds of vendors there. Depending on the space and size that you could have a health fair, you could have up to 10 to 20 vendors. And this is a way you could also generate revenue for your business. So you could charge to run a health fair for these bigger companies, which gets you in the door. And as a personal trainer and as someone who uses Nuvita, what I do when I set up a health fair is I have a table for myself and I want to establish myself as the wellness expert. And so if somebody comes to me and they go, "Hey, Kathie, I was looking at meditation or I was looking at yoga and I don't have a yoga booth there that day. I have resources." And what happens is you want to position yourself as an expert in corporate wellness because then you get people behind you that you could refer to. Like my yoga instructor, I definitely would refer her. Sometimes she would come in and teach classes on site. Again, that you're not going to get as many employees getting involved in this. And so I wanted to stay consistent on getting everybody involved in the wellness aspect inside the company. So what I started doing was once a month, I would offer a wellness day, which is a mini health fair. And I would bring in a med spa and I would also bring in a supplement person. And so they would come. It wouldn't cost me anything extra because they generated their own money by doing whatever they did. The med spa did B12 shots. But not just that, they also had other services that they could market to the employees, and the employees loved it. Like, they were always going, "When's our next wellness day? What's going on? What are you doing?" Sometimes I worked for a pharmaceutical company, so I would have the pharmacist come in on this day as well and do, what do you call them? Health screenings. And I even found out one of the younger girls inside the company had high blood pressure because they did blood pressure screenings, which can be something that you can start to see when you get inside these companies and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, I see they have, um, some people are having high blood pressure." For a young person, her age, she was in her upper 20s, I want to say, to have high blood pressure, there were other conditions she needed to look at. And one of them was definitely exercise. And so I put her on a certain exercise routine, which leads me to Nuvita and how beneficial this can be. Because let's say this company is not doing a challenge yet, but when I go do a wellness day, I bring the heart rate monitor that Nuvita has, I bring the scale, I get them inside the app so that they can play around with it with me there. Because what I find is a lot of people don't even understand how it works and what it does. And I'm like, so you see your heart rate, we can watch that and we can start monitoring that and watching you. And sometimes what can happen is somebody would hire you as their personal trainer. So if you're not doing those challenges in there, take advantage of the fact that you have this technology and use that to help these people, which I'm sure you probably already know this. But when you're in there as a wellness day, you could actually add them to this technology and utilize it. If you are not with Nuvita and you're not using the platform, I invite you to book a call with me so we can talk about how you could utilize these assets as well. And what that means is I would put you inside my app and I would show you how it works and what it does. And I'd probably recommend you get a heart rate monitor. I'd probably recommend you get a scale. So you could take that to your wellness day and put people inside the app. And I could train you as a coach inside Nuvita. So they will train your coaches and you could be trained as a coach. And if you decide to use this, then you could have your own little challenges as a coach. I would assign you as one of my coaches and you would do the challenges inside there. But to keep it simple for right now, this is how I also use the Nuvita platform to generate more revenue and to partner with other people because before they make the investment, guess what? I would let them use my Nuvita as theirs. Now, you gotta be really careful with that because that is your brand, and, I understand that because I've talked to other Nuvita partners that are like, "Oh, no, I'm not sharing my brand, I'm very careful about that," but I am too, and it's at the same time, it depends on who it is. So, I have a chiropractor who's in this community as well, and she's got corporate wellness on her website, and she's been working with me for a couple of years now. And so I would let her use it. However, it's closing the deal that's been kind of difficult. She's just not we're working on that. So who knows if it happens? If it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. But if you could generate the revenue to purchase this app, that would be great too. And you could also share the revenue if you do partner with somebody and they actually do a challenge. So this past week, I talked to Ron and Sergio, who Ron is the CEO of Nuvita, and they help us a little bit, not a lot. I think they're lacking some mastermind facilities, and it kind of blows my mind that they don't help us more than they do. And I'm not dogging them. It's just more like, you're trying to make money. Why aren't you helping me get this out there? Because I've been with Nuvita since February. And I haven't made a sale through Nuvita yet, but I have close. And so what my call was about was like, okay, it was that core 25. Because once you start getting really close to closing a sale, you want to know how Nuvita um, invoices. And you also want to know how to market this because this is something that they don't really teach. That what I don't like is the fact that they tell us that you just do the Better You platform as your sales call. And yeah, it's good, but there's a time and a place for that. So I prefer to do a discovery call, which is just 15 minutes, which is similar to those questions that they do. I do consultative selling, which there's a book called Spin Selling by Neil Rackham, and it teaches you how to do consultative selling, which is what they do at the very beginning of that question, at the very beginning of that presentation, which means you're asking them questions. What are you doing for wellness? What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? And I also position myself as a person who's like, well, let me see if I can even help you. And I invite you to do the same thing because otherwise, if you enter the call like, hey, let's jump into the Better You challenges, you will get people you don't want to work with because I did a consultative selling call with an insurance broker. And this was just a 20-minute discovery call. She decided she wanted to learn more, especially about the challenges. But, I was really excited because she has a lot of companies that are small, under 100 employees, perfect size for me. And she has a lot of these companies that I could actually work with, and they're all in my area. They're all the Gulf Coast area. I'm in Texas. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then she started getting flaky on me and she kept rescheduling. And I don't just work with anybody. I'm very picky about who I work with. If you're going to be flaky on me, I'm going to be really skeptical about working with you. Whether you're a freaking $1 million deal or not, I don't want that headache. I want somebody who really cares about what they're doing and shows that too, because that's me. That's how I work. And I know and I trust that the everything will work out the way it's supposed to. So I let that go. She did reschedule another call, but now I'm thinking, I don't know if I even want to work with her because I don't trust that. And I'm sure you probably can have experienced that too in your own business. So what happened with the call with Ron and Sergio and my mentor is they started saying, Kathie, you need to talk to people you already know, people in your contacts. And they said, and I'm going to state this is a very important sentence. They said, Just start talking to everybody you know. Do you know anybody who could use what I do? Now, where I'm positioning myself now is a personal trainer for CEOs. Because let's go back to my reverse story. I trained that CEO and got her a win. And as a personal trainer, as a health coach, as a life coach, what happens when you start working with somebody? You start to learn all about their life. You'll almost become like their hairdresser, where they just telling you almost too much. And that way you can go, guess what? I have this platform where I can do corporate wellness. I've done corporate wellness personally. I've done it for 13 years. So I know how to do this. And then you find they are interested. Or not only that, you will find that they know other people who are interested. So on the call with Ron and Sergio, they were telling me they talk to their housekeepers, they talk to their yard guy, they talk to who, everybody, the PTO, wherever you are. Just, do you know anybody who can use what I do? And when I started talking like that, I started finding people really knew what I did, because they're like, they've seen my blog, or they've seen me on social media, or they knew my business, or if I was at a networking event, they kind of knew what I did, but they wanted to work with me. Because if you're at a networking event with other health professionals, that's where your word of mouth is really going to spread, because I invite you to do what I did with each and every one of you that are here, is tell them, look, I need resources for my wellness programs. Because if we do something virtual, or if we do something that is an event or an experience with a company, and these companies want this, okay? So let's say they're having an event that they're trying to get everybody under stress management, and you do meditation, and you have me who does corporate wellness, and you position yourself in this place where you can help them. They will fly you, me, and 3 other people out there to do this event, all expense paid. And because these companies need this. If they really care about their employees, they need this. And I want you to start thinking like that. Like, I'm working with a company that does when you live in a neighborhood and you have somebody who's over the neighborhood and does all their deeds and all restrictions and all of that. Yeah. So they do this as their business. And yeah, there's only 20 employees there, but they care about their employees. They bring in a massage therapist, because yesterday I was at lunch with a massage therapist of mine who is my resource that I bring into companies. And she's like, did you talk to Craig and Susan? Because they're very stressed out. And guess what? They bring me in to do massage, and they pay for it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they probably could use that. Maybe they could run a challenge for their employees, and they would start to see things start changing, because I can only imagine that they have a lot of stress going on inside that company, where they're dealing with, I don't even want to be on a neighborhood association from the drama stories that I've heard. So, but every company has that. You think about it, lawyers, finance guys. I was just talking to somebody the other day that does tech startups, and he was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of drama that goes on in there. And if you start with a startup company that you start to build their culture right away and they have that resource, it's really, really helpful. I want to close with this, and this is where I saw a bright light of hope. When I first started working with my mentor back last year in May, and he told me about Zappos. And Zappos, you may have heard of them. They're very successful company, and people do not want to leave that company because of the culture. And guess what? They have what is called a C-suite officer that's called a chief encouragement officer. And I wrote a blog post about it, and I will put it into the community or into the show notes of this video. But what this gave me hope for was there are companies that really want people like us, that really care about the employees, and it demonstrates that we care about it, that they care about their employees when they're going to invest in their wellness, their mental health, their emotional health, their physical health, and their health in general. And so if you're going to invest in that, then we need to provide that service for them. And I want to say one more thing about doing that as for a living. When you start to do that, you really get to know the employees, and you get to know what they like, what they don't like, and you're almost like an undercover boss. I mean, I wouldn't share a lot of what I learned from this to the CEO, because I'm like, I would use my discretion, because you really don't want to get involved in that. But sometimes you will learn, like, I'm like, okay, that was TMI. I really wish I didn't know that, but just have fun with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great career. It's a great way to make an impact. And also, I always say this, there's a ripple effect that happens. So with me, I like to say I build healthy, happy teams, one heart at a time, because I also have worked with a construction company. And the guys there would eat like crap, and their wives were griping at them. And so I got them to shift their food intake from just using the Nuvita app, where they started logging in their food. And they became aware, oh, yeah, I could, instead of eating that, I could eat this. And actually, I feel better when I eat this. I mean, something as simple as that. But what happened was that it had a ripple effect, where their wives were happy because they were finally eating right. Their kids were happy because they weren't coming home in a bad mood, feeling like crap. And they started putting it all together that actually their wellness person was in charge of all that. So, all right. That is my spiel for today. And every Wednesday at 12 Eastern time, 11 Central time, I come on here and I try to answer frequently asked questions, or I try to give you some tips on what I did. Like today was a tip on how I got into corporate wellness, as well as a way to start maybe marketing yourself as a wellness consultant. And also, use the community. If you have information or you have links or something like that, share it, because I see this community being a place where we can bounce ideas off of each other. We can use each other as resources, and we can also um come on here and vent. Oh my God, I talked to so and so and they didn't do this, or what worked for you? Did you, when we got on this call, I was talking to Ellen about some kind of health insurance code that we kind of maybe need to know about if we start working with insurance companies and stuff like that. So please share your wins, share your whatever's going on, and who knows who you might help. So I'm going to open up the mic for question and answer, and feel free to jump in here if you have anything.
Kathie, thank you for sharing. I enjoyed your story. I thought it was funny. Were you talking about the employees giving you TMI, right? They're telling you too many things that you don't want to know. That's
No, I'm not kidding. I'm talking from assholes to
right.
and I'm their boss asshole to their own asshole.
That's great. I mean, it's true. People are people, right? We got gripes and stuff, people we work with, whatever. You're going to get that. I love it. It's real, right? Just being real and raw. Two questions. And, I'm just coming in, with Nuvita right now. I'm doing my onboarding. And so 2 questions I got for you about Nuvita. One, and then I ask you the second one. Have you found that Nuvita doesn't do an adequate or a good job with like connecting you with some type of warm leads of companies in your area that you can, because I understood that they they find these companies, they initiate a relationship, they kind of vet that a little bit, and then, we kind of go in and close the deal, right? Is that
Yeah.
not how it works? Have they not done a good job for you like that?
Um, no, they did not do that. I thought the same thing. I thought I would have like 25 leads that I could reach out to that were somewhat warm. No, you have to find those leads, which that's fine. I just wish they wouldn't have misled that way. But when I got on that call with them the other day, they started telling me how to do it. And my mentors have all told me the same thing all along. Don't reach out. So you may see another video I did because I was reaching out to top workplaces in my area. And that was a cold lead generation. And yeah, it could work. And actually, I've got some people in the community that found me through that. So they could build their own wellness program and maybe they want me to come speak to them or something like that. But it wasn't, yeah, they don't give you that 25 leads. Once you get your leads in there, then they start saying they're going to do some kind of LinkedIn outreach. I've talked to other Nuvita people, and am I disappointed? Yeah, I am, but at the same time, my mentors all tell me don't rely on somebody else to do your lead generation because you are your lead generation. You are your lead magnet. And you already have warm leads in your phone. And it's just a matter of saying, what did my mentor say? Do you know anybody who can benefit from what I do? And a lot of times what they'll say, well, what do you do? And then I go into my spiel about what I do. And they're like, oh yeah, I've got a friend that, my massage therapist is actually also a bartender. And I was like, this fire company, they have, they do fire installations. She goes, oh yeah, they could use you too. So it, I, yeah, in answer to your question, no, they don't give you leads. Maybe they've done it for other people. I don't know, but they did not do it for me.
That's wow. I mean, because that's a big reason that I came on with them was because, in my initial discovery call process with them over the course of a week, they sent me a readout of here's 50 out of 200 companies in your geographical area that we could reach out to that meet the criteria for who we think would be, a good fit. And I'm thinking, well, great, like they kind of head that up, but you're saying that they don't. So that's, in my mind,
Well,
that's like,
I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say that they don't. I'm just saying that they did not for me. So, um, I could be, there's other people in the community that use them. Ellen is on the call. I don't know if she can even talk, but I don't think they did that for her too.
huh.
And Maria Allshouse also, I don't think they did it for her. But I could be wrong. They may be doing it for you because I also reached out to other people that do use Nuvita and their experience is different from mine. So I'm not going to generalize it and say no.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm sorry to
I
hear
was
that.
you,
That's
if I was
disappointing.
you, I would ask them. Just
Yeah, for
don't
sure.
don't say anything about me because
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't dog them because I do love the platform and I love what it is, but I do feel they're missing an element when it comes to the sales calls on jumping right into that presentation. And I've had my mentors actually analyze that presentation and there's flaws in it. And so I trust them over anything that, and especially the way Nuvita's treated me. I'm not happy with their marketing. I'm still in their marketing funnel, which pisses me off because their marketing funnel goes, you'll have 100K in 3 months in business. Well, that's I could say that's fraudulent because you can't promise that anyways. I'm not dumb. But at the same time, why am I still in your marketing funnel? Don't you know how to tag people when they buy from you? And I'm not the only one that's in their marketing funnel. There's others.
I'm sorry to hear that. And you mentioned a mastermind group. with Nuvita? They didn't have one, or
They
so?
have workshops, but it's not a mastermind.
Mm,
They may consider that a mastermind when they do those Wednesday calls, but that's not a mastermind because I feel like I could not go on that call and say, I feel like I'm eating glass right now because you're not doing consultative selling. You are telling the people what they want, where they're already telling you the things that they don't like. So why are you telling them what they want on that first call? You If you study the book Spin Selling, he would tell you don't do that. Do not do that. You can't come in with the solution on call one with anybody, even if they know you. You cannot come in with a solution because take my friends that have that community company. I'm going to go to them and talk to them, but I'm not going to position myself as a solution. I don't even know if I want to work with them. So why would I do that? Why would I go in there and go, oh, look, I have this great uh, platform that does these challenges, and maybe their employees don't even need that, especially in the very beginning. So what I like to do is start with a wellness day and just get familiar with what the team likes, if I even want to work with them. So like, for example, with this company, they have maybe 25 employees, which isn't like really a company I want to work with. But if they want me, I could come in and do a wellness day because they have a really great kitchen and they have a great setup, and I could come sit up in there and, that may work, but I'm not going to position myself as the solution on call one, even though these people know me. Make sense?
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing all that.
Anybody else have any questions? You have anything else, Dr. Mike?
No, I am still onboarding, and I still don't even know that I know all the questions to ask.
Oh, okay. How
I'm
long have you been with them?
um since May, but I really am just getting going now, like end of July and August, because I had to move over the summer and just was busy. So I couldn't just launch. I signed up with them in the middle of May, but I didn't have time to just launch and do anything until July. So, um, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, my invitation to you is I would start looking at corporate wellness and start talking to people, and just you don't even have to sell the challenges yet if you're not ready to.
Yeah.
But if you do your presentation, just do it like they tell you, because that's what I did. I went on the call and did it like they told me, but that's not how I would, I don't like the way they position that. Now, the information is great. That would be great for a call that somebody goes, "Wow, those challenges look really cool. What does that mean?" Okay, well, let's jump on a call and talk about it. Guess what? We just eliminated 20 minutes of that beginning conversation. And a lot of times you can jump into the full presentation. So they also send you a full presentation where you talk about the value. And that's also important when you start talking about those challenges, which you don't talk about in this call. So with me, the way I position myself already, I'm with the decision maker. I've already brought up the idea of the challenges, and they're interested in what those entail. So I will most likely just go into the long presentation and answer questions and tell them. M- Honestly, what I do is I start with the short presentation, which is only going to be 15 minutes, maybe 10. And I talk about how it builds engagement, how we also impact the employees by overcoming their obstacles. I really like that part of the presentation. But then I'll jump into the long presentation where I talk about the heart rate monitor, and I talk about the scale, and I talk about how that works. And then I go into the value. And so at the end of those presentation, they will give this to you after you've done your mini presentation. But that's where you talk about, what is a gym membership cost? What is a personal trainer cost? And what is this cost? And you compare all the different things. Well, when you get to the challenge, it's $64 an employee per year on average. And so they get to see what the value is instead of just going, well, let me talk to the decision maker. You don't even have to go to the long presentation at the office with the way I'm doing it.
Okay. No, thank you. I have a lot to learn, I think. No, but one thing I totally agree with you with what you said. I've been a chiropractor for 25 years, and you come out of chiropractic school, we understand the principle behind natural health and the body heals itself if it has all the right things. And we understand that. And so many chiropractors, we've seen miracle cases, right? Um, you need more today because we live in a more toxic environment. Um, but somebody coming in to my office for just to get their back pain taken care of, they don't want to hear how I can optimize their genetic expression by adjusting them. They don't want to hear that. They want to get the pain fixed. They're not listening to me tell them this will make you walk on water if you come in here 3 times a week, because they don't believe that, right? So there's lots of things you got to overcome. But so I definitely learned that you just have a conversation with people and you meet them where they're at, and you got to ask them, how can I help you? Right? You can't,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. You can't go in just pitching a solution, you're the one all be all, because number one, people just tune you out, especially today. Nobody likes to get sold anymore, right? We're all tired of it. So it's about creating a relationship.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It is. And that's what spin selling is. That's what consultative selling is. And another thing you'll find out if you even want to work with them. And that's probably my favorite part of it. And I feel like that mini presentation, I don't know if you've watched it enough or watched people do it, but the way it's done is in such a way that you think you're going to want to work with them when you may not want to. And that's what my mentor taught me when I learned a discovery call that's just 15 minutes. You ask a few questions and then you do the magic wand question. And then at the end of that, you say, well, I don't know if I can offer you a solution, but I can send you somewhere else. And I'm sure you probably do this too in your business. But and that's the one thing I really like, because that gives you power, because then they're like, hold on, wait. Instead of just jumping into the better you presentation, I would already position myself where I'm like, do I even want to work with you? I don't know.
Yeah. We don't like flaky clients that are not, solid and stable and dependable, for sure.
And that's what'll happen if you go in there with that presentation and you're like, I gotta say, I mean, even though I did a consultative sell with this insurance broker lady, um, I find she's kind of flaky, because if she's rebooking on me twice, does she even respect my time? I don't know. I'm like, and the way I was working with her was, and there's other people in the community who do this, so I wouldn't dismiss it. It's just maybe just her, but the if she could get you business, if she would put me in front of warm leads, because she would go, look, I have this resource that does this, and the companies are a perfect size, 60 employees. That's what I like to work with. But I would definitely have to charge her a consultative fee just to go on these discovery calls, because I'm not going to do it for free.
Sure.
And I don't even know if that's going to be a partnership, but some of the people in the community are doing that.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate you sharing everything. Yeah. Just a great conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And every Wednesday at same time, I'll be here. And I want to answer Belky's question. She said, is the app for participants or employees? And Belky, the app is for the employees. It's technology that I invested in. And so that's what that is. And I don't think she's even here anymore, but she may watch the replay. Anyways. All right. So thank you for your time, and this was fun.
Thanks, Kathie.
Right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.